Yes, I do, but I'm not prepared to talk about the detail of it in public. And I think you'll see
No.
Wait,
some of our European friends are going to be curtailing their investment in Russia. In China, as long as China continues to have this indirect help to Russia in terms of being able to help their economy as well as help them in as a consequence of that their ability to fight in Ukraine. The other thing that we talked a lot about is that, and I raised it, and I didn't hear any. I can't swear that everyone agreed because not everybody got to talk about it, but we need a new industrial policy in the West. For example, we talked about how both the EU as well as NATO has to be able to begin to build their own munition capacity, has to be able to generate their own capacity to provide for weapons and the ability to, it came as a surprise to some of us how we had fallen behind in the West in terms of the ability to construct new material, new weaponry, new everything from vehicles to weapon systems. And so one of the things that came out of this was we're going to be meeting again with a number of my colleagues, my European colleagues, is what do we do to increase the capacity of the West, particularly in Europe and Japan, to be able to generate kind of ability to produce their own weapon systems, not just for themselves, but to be able to generate that. It's the same, it's what Russia's trying to figure out. That they went to China and they didn't get the weapons, but then they went to North Korea. But we're going to be in a position where the West is going to become the industrial base for it to be able to, the ability to have all the defensive weapons that we need. That was a discussion as well.
I'm sure you answered on whether you would be ready to go deal with Putin and Xi 2 or 3 years from now.
I'm ready to deal with them now and 3 years from now. Look, like I said, I'm dealing with Xi right now and direct contact with him. I have no good reason to talk to Putin right now. There's not much that he is prepared to do in terms of accommodating any change in his behavior. And but there isn't any world leader I'm not prepared to deal with. But I understand the generic point is Putin ready to talk? I'm not ready to talk to Putin unless Putin's ready to change his behavior. And the idea, look, Putin's got a problem. First of all, in this war that he is supposedly have won, and by the way, I think, don't hold me to the exact number, but I think that Russia had 17.3% of Ukraine that they've conquered. Now it's 17.4. I mean, in terms of percentage of territory. They've not been very successful. They've caused horrible damage, loss of life, but they've also lost over 350,000 troops, military, killed or wounded. They have over 1 million people, particularly young people with technical capability, leaving Russia because they see no future there. They've got a problem. But what they do have control of is they are very good at controlling and running the public outcry that relates to how they use mechanisms to communicate with people. They lie like hell to the constituencies. They lie like hell about what's going on. And so the idea that we're going to be able to fundamentally change Russia in the near term is not likely. But one thing for certain, if we allow Russia to succeed in Ukraine, they're not stopping in Ukraine. I recommend, I know you know this because you've written about it, read Putin's speech after they moved in, what it was all about in Kyiv. It wasn't about just anyway, read what his objective is. And anyway, but so I think that I'm prepared to talk to any leader who wants to talk, including if Putin called me and wanted to talk. Last time I talked to Putin was trying to get him to work on an arms control agreement related to nuclear weapons in space. That didn't go very far. So my point is, I'm prepared to talk to anybody, but I don't see any inclination.
I still want to
There's an
know why we
inclination on the
need
part of the
nuclear
Chinese to
weapons
keep
in
contact
space.
with me, because they're not sure where this all goes. And look what's happened in Asia.
Unsettling.
We have strengthened the Asian Pacific area more than anyone else has. We just put together with today. I brought on. I asked our NATO allies that we bring on the group from the South Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Australia. I already mentioned Australia, and I met twice now, I think, with the 14 leaders of the Pacific Island nations, and we've slowed down what's going on there. We've slowed down China's reach, but there's a lot of work to do. This is a moving target, and I don't take it lightly. Sam from NPR.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Will he
Asma
call on
Khalid with
Fox?
NPR.
Will he call on
I have
Fox?
2 questions. Earlier, you spoke about the ceasefire plan between Israel and Hamas. We're now looking at 10 months of war, and I'm curious if there's anything that you feel personally you wish you would have done differently over the course of the war. And then secondly, if I may, I wanted to ask you about your presidential campaign. I remember covering your campaign in 2020, and there was a moment where you referred to yourself as a, quote, bridge candidacy, a transition to a younger generation of leaders. I want to understand what changed.
2 things. Let's go back to when you talked about would I have changed anything that's happening with Israel and the Palestinians and the Palestinian movement. The answer is, as you recall, from the very beginning, I went to Israel, but I also got immediate contact with al-Sisi in Egypt. I met with the King of Jordan. I met with most of the Arab leaders to try to get a consensus going as to what had to be done to deal with getting more aid and food and medicine into the Gaza Strip. And we pushed it really hard. And Israel occasionally was less than cooperative, number one. The Israeli War Cabinet, I've been dealing with Israel since Golda Meir. Some of the reporters around here cover me all the time have heard me say this. The first time I met with Golda Meir, I sat across from her at her desk, and her assistant was Rabin sitting next to me. That's how far back I go. I know Israel well, and I support Israel. But this war cabinet is one of the most conservative war cabinets in the history of Israel. And there's no ultimate answer other than a 2-state solution here. And so what was able to be done in terms of the plan I put together was it would be a process for a 2-state solution. And we get the Arab nations to, particularly from Egypt all the way to Saudi Arabia, to be in a position where they would cooperate in the transition so that they could keep the peace in Gaza without Israeli forces staying in Gaza. The question has been from the beginning, what's the day after in Gaza? And the day after in Gaza has to be, the end of the day after has to be no occupation by Israel on the Gaza Strip, as well as the ability for us to get in and out as rapidly as you can, all that's needed there. I've been disappointed that some of the things that I put forward have not succeeded as well, like the port we attached from Cyprus. I was hopeful that would be more successful. But that's why when I went to Israel immediately after the massacres that occurred at the hands of Hamas, the one thing I said to the Israelis, and I met with the War Cabinet and with Bibi, don't make the same mistake America made after bin Laden. There's no need to occupy anywhere. Go after the people who did the job. You may recall, I still get criticized for it, but I was totally opposed to the occupation and trying to unite Afghanistan. once we got bin Laden, we should have moved on, because it was not in our, no one's ever going to unite that country. I've been over every inch of that, not every inch, the entirety from the poppy fields all the way to the north. I said, don't make the same mistake we made. Don't think that's what you should be doing, is doubling down. We'll help you find the bad guys, Sinwar and company. And all this criticism about I wouldn't provide when the weapons they needed. I'm not providing them 2,000-pound bombs. They cannot be used in Gaza or any populated area without causing great human tragedy and damage. But remember what happened when you had the attack on Israel with rockets and ballistic missiles. I was able to unite the Arab nations as well as Europe, and nothing happened. Nothing got hurt. It sent an incredible lesson to what was going on from the Middle East. So there's a lot of things, in retrospect, I wish I had been able to convince the Israelis to do. But the bottom line is we have a chance now. It's time to end this war. Doesn't mean walk away from going after Sinwar and Hamas. And if you notice, you know better than most, there is a growing dissatisfaction on the West Bank from the Palestinians about Hamas. Hamas is not popular now. And so there's a lot of moving parts. I just have to keep moving to make sure that we get as much done as we can toward a ceasefire, and get those. And by the way, look at the numbers in Israel. I mean, my numbers are better in Israel than they are here. But then again, they're better than a lot of other people here too. But anyway.
Bridge candidacy in 2020, you referred to yourself as being a bridge candidate for a younger, fresher generation of Democratic leaders. And I wanted to know what changed.
What changed was the gravity of the situation I inherited in terms of the economy, our foreign policy, and domestic division. And I think, I won't put words in anybody's mouth. Most presidential historians give me credit for having accomplished more than most any president since Johnson and maybe before that to get major pieces of legislation passed. And what I realized was my long time in the Senate had equipped me to have the wisdom to know how to deal with the Congress, to get things done. We got more major legislation passed that no one thought would happen. And I want to finish it, to get that finished. If tomorrow, if we had a circumstance where there was a lineup and I hadn't inherited what I did and we just moved things along, anyway, it's going to change.
Last question.
Haley Bull, Scripps. Or no, Josh Weingrove, I'm sorry, was the next one. I'll do 2 more questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Many of your colleagues, Democrats on the Hill, are watching tonight as they assess.
Let's bust another myth. True or false? You don't have a choice about who manages your energy. False. When you partner with Consumers Energy, you can manage your energy use with one of their energy management programs. Save energy, save money. Learn how at consumersenergy.com/home savings.
How the next 2 weeks go, will that affect your decision, or are you fully determined on running in November as the party's nominee?
I'm determined on running, but I think it's important that I allay fears by let them see me out there. Let me see them out. For the longest time it was, Biden's not prepared to sit with us unscripted. Biden's not prepared to, anyway. And so what I'm doing is, and I've been doing, I think we've done over 20 major events from Wisconsin to North Carolina to demonstrate that I'm going out in the areas where we think we can win, where we can persuade people to move our way, or people are already there. And then look, the other thing is, we have the most extensive campaign organization of anybody's had in a long, long time. We have well over 1,000 volunteers. knocking on doors, making phone calls, making tens of thousands of phone calls. We have headquarters. I forget exactly how many. I don't want to cite a number and then find out I'm off. But we have scores of headquarters in all the toss-up states. We're organized. We're moving, and that's awful hard to replace in the near term. And so, and here's the other thing. I was in the Senate a long time. Very proud of what I've done in the Senate. I was chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee for a long time, and I was chairman or ranking member and chairman of the Judiciary Committee. I'm going to be going down to the Johnson Library. Anyway, I'm going to be going around making the case of the things that I think we have to finish and how we can't afford to lose what we've done or backslide on civil rights, civil liberties, women's rights. There's that little button we have. Control guns, not girls. I mean, the idea we're sitting around, this where Kamala's so good as well. We're sitting around. More children are killed by a bullet than any other cause of death. The United States of America. What the hell are we doing? What are we doing? We got a candidate saying, promise the NRA, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. You got a Supreme Court that is what you might call the most conservative court in American history. This is ridiculous. There's so much we can do still. And I'm determined to get it done. It's about freedom. And by the way, I'll end this. Well, I'm not going to do that. Haley has to come up too. But I remember I made a speech on democracy in Philadelphia at Independence Hall. And I'm not being critical, just observing. The bulk of the press said, what the hell is he talking about that for? Democracy. You did. Democracy is not an issue. Democracy is not an issue. Except the polling data showed 60% of the people knew I was right, thought I was right. I'm not asking you a question. You don't have to answer, obviously. But do you think our democracy is under siege based on this court? Do you think democracy is under siege based on Project 2025? Do you think he means what he says when he says he's going to do away with the civil service, eliminate the Department of Education, make sure, I mean, we've never been here before. And that's the other reason why you say, hand off to another generation. I've got to finish this job. I've got to finish this job because there's so much at stake.
We've had some discussions over the past few days with your press secretary about the question of health exams. And you said you take a cognitive test every day in this job. Are you open to taking another physical or test before the election? Governor Whitmer of Michigan, for instance, said it wouldn't hurt to take a test.
Well, look, two things. One, I've taken 3 significant and intense neurological exams by a neurologist. In each case, as recently as February. And they say I'm in good shape, okay? Although I do have a little problem with my left foot because it's not as sensitive because I broke my foot and didn't wear the boot. But I'm good. I'm tested every single day about my neurological capacity to do decisions I make every day. You talk to my staff, all of you talk to my staff. Sometimes my staff talks a lot. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think you have them telling you that all the major ideas we've undertaken haven't been in part initiated by me. I remember when the staff, I said, I'm going to go to South Korea. We're going to get the chip. What are you doing? I'm going to get Japan and Korea back together again after essentially having hostilities toward one another since the end of World War II. I'm going to move and see that we can expand. You know, the only thing age does is help you with it, creates a little bit of wisdom if you pay attention. And so the point I'm making is, I think it's important that if the neurologist tells me he thinks I need another exam, and by the way, I've laid every bit of the record out, hadn't a thing. You ought to ask Trump for his, okay? I laid it all out. And every single day, I'm surrounded by good docs. If they think there's a problem, I promise you, or even if they don't think it's a problem, they think I should have a neurological exam again, I'll do it. But no one's suggesting that to me now. And I'll ask you another question. No matter what I did, no one's going to be satisfied. Did you have 7 docs? Did you have 2? Who'd you have? Did you do this? How many times did? So I am not opposed. If my doctors tell me I should have another neurological exam, I'll do it. But that's where I am. Haley Bull, Scripps.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said you're making decisions on a day-to-day basis when it comes to support for Ukraine. Does that mean you have not closed the door on further considering lifting restrictions for U.S.-made weapons inside Russia? And if I may, your convention is coming up where your delegates are pledged to make you the official nominee. If they have second thoughts, are they free to vote their conscience?
Obviously, they're free to do whatever they want, but I got overwhelming support. Overwhelming support. I won, I forget how many votes I won in the primary. Overwhelming. And so tomorrow, if all of a sudden I show up at the convention, everybody says, we want somebody else, that's the democratic process. It's not going to happen.
Even if that means they vote for someone else?
Sure. Look, I'll end this with this. I served in the Senate a long time. I understand the impetus of candidates running for local office and whether they think the topic can help them or not. In my state of Delaware, which was a very, at least it was a red state when I started, in terms of where you now talk red and blue. I don't recall most of the Democratic presidents winning my state when I was a candidate. The truth of the matter is I understand the self-interest of every candidate. If they think that, running with Biden atop is going to hurt them, then they're going to run away. I get it. But so far, go and look at the polling data in their states. Look at the in-depth, and by the way, I think you'd all acknowledge, and you're all experts. I'm not being solicitous about the president. You're experts on this stuff. How accurate does anybody think the polls are these days? I can give you a series of polls where you have likely voters, me versus Trump, where I win all the time. When the unlikely voters vote, he wins sometimes. The bottom line is all the polling data right now, which I think is premature because the campaign really hasn't even started. I mean, it hadn't started in earnest yet. Most of the time, it doesn't start till after September, after Labor Day. So a lot can happen. But I think I'm the best I believe I'm the best qualified to govern. And I think I'm the best qualified to win. But there are other people who could beat Trump too. But it's awful start from scratch. And, we talk about, money raised. We're not doing bad. We got about $220 million in the bank. We're doing well. So with that, you have want to follow up on any of that you just asked me?
Yes. You earlier explained confidence in your vice president.
Yes.
If your team came back and showed you data that she would fare better against former President Donald Trump, would you reconsider your decision to stay in the race?
No, unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that. Okay. Thank you.
This ends tonight's press conference. Thanks, everybody. This concludes.
Respectfully, earlier you misspoke in your opening answer. You referred to Vice President Harris as Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
This concludes tonight's press conference. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, everyone.
That's the president of the United States, people.
That was beautiful.
God damn.
What was that? What was
I don't know, but I'm tired of 80-year-old people running this damn show.
Yeah.
In general, I
little
don't care
bit.
who it is.
A little bit. No, it pissed me off like earlier when I saw that Trump was like, let's have a golf off. I'll donate $1 million to charity. Why don't you donate it to the people who
You
can't?
got Chuck
afford
Schumer in the Senate. Dude can't even say insurrection correctly.
Is he still calling it an erection?
Oh my gosh.
Did he do
doesn't
it
shut
again?
up. Then you got Nancy Pelosi and what's his name? Mitch McConnell that can't even fucking stay unfrozen at a press conference. Notice how he doesn't have them anymore.
No.
It's like, when do we vote these fools out? This is why, like, for me, like, politics isn't entertaining anymore. It's not interesting to me anymore. Politics isn't.
So when you guys ask why we just cover random TikTok drama, this is why.
Between like people being stuck in their own, both sides accuse each other of echo chambers.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides create echo chambers. Both sides call each it. We all know damn well if everything was being ruled and on the left side of things, it wouldn't be a corrupt Supreme Court.
Right.
And that's why, like, I'm having an idiot with one of the douchebags on when he's like, it's nowhere in the Constitution that you can't burn the flag. I'm like, it's called free speech. No, a judge decided that. Yeah, their job is to interpret the Constitution. So you don't like corrupt judges. So now you're calling the Supreme Court corrupt because you don't like the ruling.
But as soon as they rule in your favor,
Then they're the greatest thing ever. And it's both sides. It's not one side or the other. And it's just like this shit. Like, we got two 80-year-old men running for president.
Mm-hmm.
Why is 65 and up running for anything? Like, in all honesty, why? Like,
anything besides to their mailbox for their AARP cards.
Right. And
That's
it's just
nothing
got
they
to the
should be
point where
running
it's like, it's the same arguments over and over and over again. It's gotten, nobody cares to do anything. You have the right that bitched all during COVID about how all these governors and everybody were sitting there taking away our rights and trampling on our freedoms. And then we reelected every son of a bitch there was. And it's like, you know what? That's what did it for me, was that election that year. Because I was thinking, okay, we're going to come into that election season of 2020 and it'd be hot between all the governors, between everybody that was up for election that took away our freedoms, that everybody was complaining about. Lockdowns this, lockdowns that. Ron DeSantis got revoted.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Hot Wheels got revoted. They all got revoted. It's like,
Whitmer got
serious.
revoted.
Nobody's serious about doing anything. These fuckers on TikTok on the right over here with BanFam Reloaded think that they're fighting something good on TikTok. On TikTok. That's where the fight's at, is on TikTok.
Yep.
And then you got dumbasses. Yeah, Kemp is another one. Then you got dumbasses like, if only we were united. On TikTok? We're going to create change on TikTok? Where was that in 2020? And I'm not even talking just the presidential race. I'm talking about them all. Like, it's boring. I'm
go off.
Like, I follow it for my own. I just don't get involved. I try not to get involved anymore because it's like, it's just boring now. Like, what? Then you got all those jack-o'-lanterns over there talking about a following. A following.
Jack-o'-lanterns? Who's the jack-o'-lanterns? BanFam?
Yeah, BanFam Reloaded. Make sure
you're calling them jack-o'-lanterns?
They're well, you got Colonel Epstein over there. He thinks he's like the king of everything. And Joey Bag of Donuts.
I feel like the conversation is done as soon as you start sending out photos of your minor children to grown men as bait without knowing the stranger. As soon as you do that, you lose every argument going forward. And the minute that you start defending that man, you lose every argument going forward.
I agree.
I mean, regardless of the ketchup packet, regardless of the knocking out girls, the minute that you admitted that you used your child as bait for a stranger on the internet, gross. gross.
Gross.
That's the end of it. That's it. Like you can't go lower than that. So you won. Good job, Nick.
Yeah, I just that's I don't even post on Instagram on politics. I just don't care for it anymore. It's like
Fake.
it's fake because most of the people, especially when it comes to Ban Fam, weren't political beforehand, and they don't know shit about politics. They don't. They don't know anything about policy. We could sit here and have a conversation with them about policy. I guarantee they won't know anything about it. They argue the same talking points, and it's the same on the left. And I'm just picking on Ban Fam because they're relevant in my mind right now, just because
Right.
they're
You're
weak.
currently arguing with them.
I'm toying with them.
And then
I'm
Marbles,
just
Yeah,
toying with them. I'm just,
I saw Marbles was back.
Marbles is back, and that's what I keep calling him too. Is Marbles.
Fucking Marbles.
So yeah, I just
And then
and that's
one
why,
of your,
and,
one of your
because I know,
trolls
I know
called me a
Danny had
liberal.
said, I know Misfit Danny had said that she was hoping that I get back to political talk, but I just why? It doesn't do anything. It truly doesn't.
Do you need to rev up like your political engine again? Like
No, I don't think I can this time.
you don't
Honestly,
think you can? You don't think you
I
can
just
do
don't.
it?
I don't care enough now.
I'm trying to. Like I'm paying attention again, and
No,
I'm
you got
trying to care, but
idiots defending the guy we just saw on TV.
yeah.
We have idiots that literally defend him, and,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Or think
how?
it's
I get you don't like
normal.
Trump. I totally get you don't like Trump. I'm not saying you have to vote for Trump just for that guy, but like that's the best America has. 350 million Americans.
And this is the best.
We have two
that's all.
dummies. Yeah, they're both dummies. I'm voting
Yeah.
for Trump, yes, but he just happens to be more coherent. I mean, at this point,
Ames, drink some Pedialyte.
no, Garage Door guy he's
Insult.
useless. He stays on private, but Marbles.
I
is
forgot
good,
about
man.
that guy.
Yeah.
He's Fan Fam though, isn't he?
Oh, he's big.
Or
time
is he
fan.
not still? Because I remember like he wanted to be, but they didn't want him to be.
I think because he came at us, that was his
Was
initiation.
his initiation, like he's
Yeah.
allowed into the club now.
Right.
I love that for him. I do. It'll give him something to do, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like a lot of people. Like, and here we go. Watch this. I'm gonna call it now. If Donald Trump picks Marco Rubio to be his fucking VP because he's on the short list, don't talk to me again in the next 4 years if he gets elected about draining the swamp. That motherfucker's the biggest in the swamp,
Mhm.
and you're gonna make him your VP? Mm-mm. No.
I didn't know he was on the short list.
Yeah, he's on. There's a couple rhinos on the short list, and I'm like, yeah, I can't.
Some people think it's going to be his kid.
I've heard that rumor, but I don't think Tom
That
Cotton's
would be
even
pretty
on the.
gangster.
He's not even on the short list, from what I've seen. I haven't seen him on any list. What is Foot Junkie talking about? He proved it with I defend him. Oh, because you defend Joe Biden. I don't believe it, honestly. I get like we think numbers don't lie, but numbers lie. He's patched up with a t-shirt. The VP can't be from the state. Oh, that's true.
Oh,
So, well, that's probably our only saving grace. That is true.
but
Yeah.
do they live in the same state?
Yeah, they do. Because Marco Rubio represents Florida, and that's where Donald Trump lives.
Oh, okay.
So, Care Bear's right, and I forgot about that. But I don't even. Then why are they even floating his name around? That's the thing I don't get. Like he's on every damn list. Marco Rubio is on every list that I've seen.
Do you remember when Trump trolled him and sent him water?
Yeah.
Because he kept clearing his throat on the debate stage. I miss when politics were good.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules on like the residency of if it's at time of election or time of swearing into office to change residency, but I don't get it. No, it's definitely not birth price. It's residency.
Do him and his son share the same state?
Oh yeah. I don't know where Don Jr. lives.
They'll wait, like, because the way that it looks and the way that it's being presented, at least the way the media is spinning it on both networks, it more or less looks like everyone's asked him to step down, but he's refusing. If he doesn't agree, then there's not much they can do outside of like 25th in him, right?
Yeah, they would have to 25th him. But I mean, why are we even in this situation? That's my question. Like, why are we even in this situation of having to choose between dementia patient and Trump? Like, honestly, like,
Because, like, honestly, how much longer does Trump have before he starts getting
Joe
old?
Biden wants to sit there and talk about how he won the primary by a landslide. Yeah, because nobody ran against you, Joe. You're the incumbent. Nobody ran against you in the primaries. You didn't even have to campaign.
I think he meant like
It's
Oh,
true. Nobody ran against him. Trump had people running against him, just like Trump in 2020. You could have said the same thing. I won the primary. Yeah, you had nobody running against you. JD Vance is on the short list. I saw that. I don't know how I feel about him. He used to be an anti-Trumper, and now all of a sudden, see, this is what, like, I don't know. It just, politics is a fascinating thing to me in general. That's why I follow it. But like social media wise, it's just gotten pointless. Everybody thinks they're doing something on social media.
yeah.
Like, I mean, and if you think TikTok's bad, go over to Twitter. Twitter, conservatives are going after conservatives left and right. Liberals are going after liberals left and right. Like, it's worse over on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, y'all think the infighting is bad?
Exactly. He won.
Yeah, it's just bragging about winning something that, like, they're pretty much guaranteed to win. And don't you like how your governor's now like thrusted to the forefront? She gets to speak on all this stuff.
Dude,
She's like nominee of like a replacement, I guess.
I like to try to forget about her. And just when I start forgetting about her, she pops back up again. She's like glitter. Like when you think you've got it out of your house, you'll find it like a week later.
There you go. Everybody go to Glitterworks and order Doug's candy or his candle.
Doug has a candle?
Doug has a candle. So the way it works is Doug gets a little bit of money from the candle, but so does Glitterworks. So you support two people at once.
Wicks.
Glitter
Glitter Wicks.
Glitter Wicks. That's what I said.
You said Glitter Works.
Oh, Glitter Wicks. My bad.
Say it correctly.
Glitter Wicks.
There you go.
Definitely go get Glitter Wicks.
I didn't know that Doug had one. That's cool.
Yeah. I think London is the Oprah of candles and merch. You get a candle, you get merch, you get a candle.
You get a t-shirt.
She next thing you know, something gets said. Next thing you know, she's got a t-shirt for it.
I know.
Like within 2 seconds, I'm like,
Always
damn.
a t-shirt immediately
Hey.
after.
That's what makes her good at business, though. She jumps right on the
She
hot.
does jump on it quick. It's fun.
Hey, I'm all for it.
I'm all about like,
Oh boy.
ew, I know you do, Foot. I know he does. This has like been an ongoing thing with me and Foot. But
See, I don't like that Elise Stepnick. She's I don't like. I'm not a big. Yeah, I'm not a big Ben Carson fan for VP. I like him, but I just don't see him as a VP. Byron Donald, still young.
that's not. I don't know. I expected to see better from Trump, but that's just
Didn't
me.
catch me. Exactly.
Americans suck it.
Oh, there's wifey coming in hot about Whitmer. She loves Whitmer.
We love her. She's a queen.
Slay.
Slay. Big Gretch, isn't that what they're calling her?
Yeah,
Big Gretch.
big old Gretch.
Big Gretch with her aviator shades, marching through downtown Detroit. Woman
Something like that.
of the people.
Yeah, I summoned the band family, and only a woman showed up, which is ironic.
Only the girl. Was it
Yeah,
Grandma?
well,
Was it
why?
or the girl that
No,
killed her?
Granny Trump has me blocked.
So it's the girl who has like 90 pounds of eye makeup on.
Sass lady, whatever her name is.
Dude, wash your face. That's a lot of eye makeup. Like that is a lot of eye makeup. My
She
gosh.
blocked me.
It looked like she tried to start doing her eyeliner and then fucked it up and then had to do another thicker line and then a thicker line on top of that because she kept fucking it up. And then she just walked out looking like raccoon eyes. Cam's private.
Let's see. Now I'm getting messages from people.
Seriously, Jackie, there's too many bitches on this app that aren't blending their eyeshadow. I don't get it. You can do it with your finger, just kind of like windshield wiper motion. Fix you right up. What are you looking for?
Oh wait, hang on. Let me go look for something. Hold on.
What? The suspense is killing me.
Well, Nick apparently is was gonna unblock everybody and go live.
But he's not anymore.
I guess not.
He changed his mind.
He got scared.
Oh,
He got scared. Yeah, he got scared. I mean, he can't find all the tough people.
what were they gonna go live for?
Well, apparently just air it all out.
And then what happened?
I don't know. He was gonna block everybody just to see if anybody wanted to go. I figured he'd probably go live.
What time's he supposed to go live?
He didn't say.
Oh, so we're just supposed to like wait around for him to go live?
Yeah.
Are we,
Kinda
are we-
thought-
are we switching over to Mary Jane now?
I kind of thought
Got it.
he would go live during us, and that way he like call us cowards.
They didn't even show up.
Yeah. You know how he does. You know how they do that dirty work. But yeah, I got old. I got what's her name there in a pickle here.
His phone's about to die and he has no way to charge it.
Right. Oh yeah, the generator. You hear the generator?
Different Nick though.
Oh, which Nick is this?
Wait, which Nick are you talking about?
Town Mouse.
Oh. For why?
Nicky Poo, little bitch.
Who does he even have drama with still?
I don't
Is
know.
there like ongoing? I haven't seen anything with that Nick. I assumed that you were talking about Colonel Epstein.
No, hold it.
Doesn't matter how much I
I'm
learn.
gonna find it.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
I always wonder how rabbits get so mad.
See?
What do we say? I unblock everyone and have an open house live tonight. And Charles has already been doing that. Why do you want to steal Charles's thing?
We were just talking about Glitterwix, and there she is.
We were just talking about you, boo. But he never said like what time or
I don't care who hosts. I'll join that motherfucker.
are you going to?
If he unblocks me,
Oh snap. If that's going down, I'll stay awake for a little bit.
will you be able to?
Probably not.
Is he gonna do that? Don't tell me he's gonna do that. He's gonna cry again too. Bro, have you heard all the audios that come out about Punks?
Yeah, why is he so emotional?
He's always crying.
Like, is he okay?
I don't think so, but I've heard a lot of like. stuff
I'd rather
like that.
listen to Biden again too.
Everybody, after our live, you go join Glitterwix
Glitterwix.
live.
I just don't understand. Like, what does he need to? Like, no one's actively fighting with him anymore. I thought,
Hello.
why are you answering the phone on live?
What's wrong? Are you? All right. Bye. I gotta go.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna? Thanks, everybody. We'll just end early.
Family's been involved in a car accident, so I gotta go.
Okay, call me. All right, guys. Thank you.